Just so I don't take too much space. So, this is Andreas. And he is one of the quest designers, working on the many different quests in the game. And right now he's working on the quests for Tortage, the beginnings, the early parts of the game, the 1 to 20. And this is actually a very good example on how dynamic and world-changing the quests in Age of Conan can be. What you're seeing here, as many of you on the beta has probably seen, is well, Tortage burning. And this is a typical world-changing event that we are allowed to do because we have split single-player, split multiplayer, by sleeping at the Thirsty Dog Inn and all that. So, yeah, it tells a little bit about how dynamic quests we can actually do in Age of Conan.
Okay, because we have a solo campaign, we can, for example, this is the end of a huge conflict between the resistance which the player takes part of, and the tyrant ruler of the Taj. So in the end of the Taj experience, the 1 to 20, you come to a situation where the conflict has gone over into a full war. So together with the resistance, you have to take back and take over the different districts of the city. And as a result, the city is on fire and buildings are destroyed and people are killed. And so you fight with the quest givers and the people and the characters you've known. You fight together against the forces of the tyrant ruler. So, you know, apparently things have gone wrong here. This used to be a pub.
And here you will actually see NPCs, right, that you've been playing, I mean, that you've been talking to earlier.
Yeah, normally when I'm not testing and I'm really playing, this is a huge battle here that takes place between the resistance and the tyrant's forces. Right, 10. And
what would you say the sort of quests that we want to create with Age of Conan? How are we differentiating quests in Age of Conan from quests in, well, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, from previous MMOs?
First, I'd say that the most important difference is just the setting. That it's not cute or cuddly, or it's really dark and brutal, because that's how the world of Hybora is. So that really affects the mood of the quests. We also really try to take it a bit further. Really try to make our quests more interesting than what we've done before. So I think that's really interesting.
What about like dynamic questing? Have you tried to integrate that at all into the system? Like if you choose to play the darker character than somebody else, will that change your questing experience at all? Especially when you're doing like the single player type stuff.
You do have some choices, but mainly we've gone for where you normally don't play as a truly evil character. But okay. You decide your character pretty much yourself. So you mean the dialogue system, for example, that we have. You can always most of the time choose how you want to approach people.
Right, but will that affect how they react to you, like maybe later on in the game or something like that? If you see the same character again,
no.
No. Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think also we've been trying to add a certain level of maturity to the quests. Also, not just in terms of adding violence and sex and all that stuff, but actually bringing on more mature subjects. Like for instance, you have the quest where you have to actually sentence someone to death.
Yeah. It's very easy to see how its work is just blood and gore, and think that that's mature, but the whole setting is actually very mature and dark. The question mentioned, it's a quest where you get a quest to find out who murdered someone, and you have a couple of suspects that you get to talk to, and you get to investigate what has really happened, and then you talk to the character that asked you to do this quest, and you get to choose to tell him who made the crime, and you can make the wrong choice, which the only negative effect of that is the wrong guy gets killed, but you'll still get the quest.
Interesting.
So we try to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds more like a BioWare role-playing game, really.
Right.
KOTOR style.
Yeah, exactly. Knights of the Republic. Yeah, I remember there was a quest there we had to actually choose.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very neat. So what is this other screen that you've got going on here? Is that like the progression of the quest that you're going on, or what is? I don't know
Exactly.
what that
This is the quest editor where we define the main quest logic.
Okay.
This is actually the quest itself. As you can see there, it's each and every box here is a task that you make. So it's like a flow chart where you go between tasks. So
Sure.
this is the task I'm on right now. It has 2 goals. So it's like a container of goals, which you can see here: liberate the northern city and liberate the harbor. So if I want to change the quest, I just add more boxes and choose what they're going to be, and I can add stuff like that. If I, for example, would fail to liberate a part, I could add another task and draw another arrow that says failed. So if I fail,
So you've got these branching sort of quest design.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very simple to work with. And then we have, of course, this is just defining the quest logic and the rewards and stuff. Then this works together with the dialogue tool and the world editing tool and the script tool and everything. It puts it all together.
And another thing that I really love about Age of Conan and questing in Age of Conan is the dialogue system, you know, that you've all been trying. Is that, I mean, I love World of Warcraft. I have a level 60 character and all that. But, you know, instead of just getting that block of text that you have to read through just to get to the objectives, I mean, instead actually having a discussion with an NPC and actually seeing what that NPC is saying to you, and actually you just digest it in a much more natural manner. So I personally get much more sucked into quests and their actual story, not just objectives.
People care more, I think, about the stories we tell. And something we do now as Polish is adding different camera angles. We have a really sweet system for that, for the dialogue, so we can have different camera angles and more animations, so they become more alive.
Agitated.
And we have facial animations and stuff like that. So it's pretty sweet.
Sure. So do you do all that stuff too, or do you, maybe write the dialogue and then send it to somebody else to do the facial animation, and then send it to somebody else to do the actual like voice work?
I'm gonna do the animation, add the animations and the facial stuff.
Okay.
But then another guy, we have professional writers who write all the dialogue.
Got it. So you just give him like an emotion. You're like angry. He's angry in this, or he's sad in this part, or something like that.
Right. But before the writer writes it, we've discussed the quest very intimately, and we talk about what kind of emotion, what kind of atmosphere or feeling that should be conveyed and so forth.
Okay. So you're like paired up with another writer that you work with, and you always okay.
We have a few writers that we work together with.
Cool.
All right. We have to move on.
Okay.
Thank you so much.